This is the story of how a failed minor league first baseman became a knuckleball legend. Imagine, as a professional baseball player, being told that you never make it past AA. And for Tim Wakefield, this wasn't just a setback. It was the beginning of one of the most unlikely success stories in MLB history. So how did a struggling first baseman with a 189 batting average transform into a two-time World Series champion? Born in Melbourne, Florida, Wakefield's love for baseball started early. He played first base in high school and college, showing promise, but not quite standing out. The Pittsburgh Pirates took a chance on him, drafting him in the 8th round of the 1988 MLB draft. But his first season in the minors was rough, to say the least. That 189 batting average, a clear sign that something needed to change. Then the moment came that obviously could have ended his career. A scout told Wakefield he'd never make it past AA as a position player, and it was a gut punch. But it also sparked a memory. Years ago, Wakefield's father had taught him a, quote, magic trick, the knuckleball. Little did he know, this quirky pitch would become his ticket to the big leagues. Wakefield stood at a crossroads, his baseball dreams hanging by a thread. So, facing the end of his baseball career, Tim Wakefield made a decision that would change everything. He decided to become a pitcher. He was going to master the knuckleball, that unpredictable pitch his father had shown him years ago. It was a desperate gamble. Transitioning from first base to pitching is rare enough, but to do it with one of the most difficult pitches in baseball, that's like deciding to become a tightrope walker and starting over the Niagara Falls. But hey, Wakefield had nothing to lose. He'd already been told he'd never make it as a position player. So, with the support of Woody Hike, a developmental coach who saw potential in Wakefield's knuckleball, he began the arduous process of turning a party trick into a professional pitch. Wakefield's father's early lessons became the foundation for his new career, but transforming the knuckleball from a novelty into a serious weapon was no easy task. The pitch, known for its erratic movement, is notoriously difficult to control. Even experienced pitchers struggle with it, and here was Wakefield, a former first baseman trying to build his entire career around it. The challenge was immense. Wakefield had to completely rewire his baseball instincts. Instead of trying to hit the ball, he now had to throw it in a way that defied conventional pitching wisdom. The goal wasn't to overpower batters with speed or fool them with elaborate breaking balls. Instead, Wakefield had to master the art of throwing a pitch so slowly and unpredictably that batters couldn't help but swing and miss. In 1990, Wakefield made his first professional pitching debut with the Single-A Salem Buccaneers. At first, he split time between pitching and playing the infield, but as the season progressed, it became clear that Wakefield's future was on the mound. His first full season as a pitcher in 1990 was a mixed bag. He posted a 10-14 record with a 4.73 ERA. Not exactly the stuff of legends, but it was a start. The following year, though, things began to click. In 1991, pitching for the AA Carolina Mudcats, Wakefield improved dramatically, going 15-8 with a 2.90 ERA. Mastering the knuckleball was about learning to trust a pitch that by its very nature was untrustworthy. Wakefield himself would later admit, "I have no idea where it's going. The hitter doesn't know where it's going, and the catcher doesn't know where it's going." Imagine trying to build a career on something so wildly unpredictable. Yet against all odds, Wakefield's gamble started to pay off. His improvement in the minors caught the attention of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and on July 31st, 1992, Wakefield made his major league debut against the St. Louis Cardinals. What happened next was nothing short of miraculous. Wakefield dominated. He threw a complete game, striking out 10 batters and throwing an astounding, unheard of today, 146 pitches. Remember, this was a guy who just a few years earlier had been told he'd never make it out of AA as a position player. Wakefield's debut was a validation. It proved that his decision to switch to pitching, to embrace the knuckleball, was the beginning of something special. But as any knuckleballer will tell you, consistency is the real challenge. Wakefield had shown he could be brilliant, but could he do it game after game, season after season? The unpredictable nature of his signature pitch meant that every outing was a new adventure for Wakefield, his catcher, and the batters facing him. Tim Wakefield's gamble on the knuckleball paid off spectacularly in his rookie season with the Pirates. In 1992, he burst onto the scene with an impressive 8-1 record with a sparkling 2.15 ERA. Fans and analysts alike were captivated by this unorthodox pitcher who could make the ball dance unpredictably to the plate. But that inconsistency reared its ugly head in 1993, and it was a stark reminder of just how fickle the pitch can be. His record plummeted to 6-11, and his ERA ballooned to 5.61. The magic of his rookie year seemed to have vanished, leaving behind a pitcher struggling to find his rhythm. Opening day that season in 1993 was particularly brutal for Wakefield. He walked 9 batters, showcasing the Jekyll and Hyde nature of the knuckleball. One day it's dancing around bats like a butterfly. The next day it's bouncing off the backstop. The inconsistency is what makes the pitch both fascinating and frustrating. And the Pirates, who had once seen Wakefield as their ace in the making, began to lose faith. They sent him back to the minors, hoping he could regain his form. But things only got worse. In 1994, pitching for the AAA Buffalo Bisons, Wakefield hit rock bottom. He led the league in losses, walks, and home runs allowed. It was a trifecta no pitcher wants to achieve. Just imagine the emotional roller coaster. Just 2 years earlier, Wakefield had been the talk of baseball, a rookie sensation with a magical pitch. Now, he was struggling to get minor league hitters out. The doubters who said he'd never make it as a position player, feeling pretty smug. After all, his attempt to reinvent himself as a pitcher seemed to be failing spectacularly. The Pirates, running out of patience and options, made a decision that must have felt like the end of Wakefield's career. They released him, cut loose by the only professional organization he'd ever known. Wakefield was faced with the very real possibility that his baseball dream was over. He'd already faced the end of his career once, when he was told he'd never make it as a position player. He had taken a huge risk switching to pitching and banking everything on the most unpredictable pitch in baseball. But here's the thing about knuckleballers. They're a resilient bunch. They have to be. That's the very nature of their signature pitch, meaning they have to go with the bad days, with the bad weeks, even the bad seasons. But the key is to keep throwing, believing, and trust that the good days will come back round. And for Wakefield, a lifeline appeared from an unexpected source. The Boston Red Sox were intrigued by the potential they saw in the struggling pitcher and decided to take a chance. They signed Wakefield to a minor league contract, offering him one last shot at the big league glory. It was a low-risk move for the Red Sox. But for Wakefield, it was everything. This was the new lease on his baseball life. The Red Sox were known for their patient approach with players, and they had a history with knuckleballers. If there was any place where Wakefield could resurrect his career, this was it. As Wakefield packed his bags for Boston, he must have felt a mixed bag of emotions. Relief at getting another chance, anxiety about whether he could make the most of it, and maybe, just maybe, a flicker of hope. Tim Wakefield's arrival in Boston marked the beginning of an incredible turnaround. The Red Sox provided the perfect environment for Wakefield to rediscover his magic, and rediscover it he did. In his first 17 starts with the Red Sox in 1995, Wakefield went on an insane run, posting a 14-1 record with a minuscule 1.65 ERA. It was as if he found a time machine and transported himself back to his rookie season with the Pirates. It was the start of a long and fruitful relationship between Wakefield and the Red Sox. But what made Wakefield's success so captivating was the unique way he achieved it. Again, while most pitchers relied on blazing fastballs or sharp breaking balls, Wakefield's weapon of choice was a pitch that seemed to defy the laws of physics. His knuckleball, thrown at speeds ranging from 45 miles an hour to a modest 69 miles an hour, baffled batters and revitalized his career. Imagine standing at the plate, watching a pitch that looks more like a butterfly than a baseball float towards you. Just when you think you've got it lined up, it suddenly darts in an unexpected direction. And that was the challenge that batters faced when squaring off against Wakefield. This unpredictability became his greatest strength. In a sport, especially today, where hitters thrive on recognizing patterns and anticipating pitches, Wakefield's knuckleball was a constant wild card, allowing him to compete against hitters who could easily overpower his modest velocity, turning his perceived weakness into a unique advantage. But Wakefield's value to the Red Sox extended beyond his ability to puzzle batters. His versatility and durability made him an indispensable member of the pitching staff. Unlike most pitchers who are confined to specific roles, Wakefield seamlessly transitioned between starting and relieving as the team needed. This flexibility was a manager's dream. Need a spot start due to an injury? Wakefield was ready. Bullpen taxed after a long extra inning game? Wakefield could provide multiple innings of relief. His ability to adapt to any role made him a vital cog in the Red Sox machine, eating up innings and saving wear and tear on the rest of the pitching staff. His durability, equally impressive. The knuckleball, being a low-stress pitch, allowed him to pitch deep into games and recover quickly between appearances. While other pitchers might need 4 or 5 days of rest between starts, Wakefield could often be ready to go on shorter notice. This allowed him to rack up innings year after year, becoming a model of consistency for the Red Sox. But perhaps Wakefield's defining moment with the Red Sox came during the team's historic 2004 playoff run. The Red Sox found themselves in a 3-0 hole against their arch rivals, the New York Yankees, in the ALCS. No team in baseball history had ever come back from such a deficit in a best-of-7 series. With the team facing elimination and the bullpen exhausted, Wakefield volunteered to pitch in relief during a blowout loss in Game 3, a selfless act that saved the bullpen for crucial games to come. Then in Game 5, with the series hanging in the balance, Wakefield delivered 3 shutout innings in extra innings, earning the win and keeping the Red Sox improbable comeback alive. Wakefield's contributions were crucial as the Red Sox completed their miracle comeback against the Yankees and went on to win their first World Series in 86 years. His willingness to sacrifice personal glory for the good of the team, combined with his clutch performance when it mattered most, cemented his status as a fan favorite in Boston. But Tim Wakefield's impact on baseball extended far beyond the mound. And while his knuckleball baffled batters for 2 decades, it was his work off the field that truly set him apart. Wakefield became a fixture in the Boston community, dedicating countless hours to charitable causes, particularly the Jimmy Fund. The Jimmy Fund, which supports adult and pediatric cancer care and research at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, found a tireless advocate in Wakefield. He wasn't just a celebrity face for the organization. He was deeply involved, serving as the Red Sox captain of the Jimmy Fund. Wakefield made regular visits to patients, offering comfort and hope to those battling cancer. His commitment went beyond mere appearances too. He actively participated in fundraising efforts, helping to raise millions for cancer research. But his charitable work didn't stop there. Wakefield hosted an annual celebrity golf tournament that raised over $10 million for the Space Coast Early Intervention Center, supporting children with special needs. As the honorary chairman of the Red Sox Foundation, he was a key figure in numerous community service initiatives. Wakefield's dedication to giving back didn't go unnoticed. In 2010, he received one of baseball's highest honors off the field, the Roberto Clemente Award. This prestigious recognition is annually given to the player who best exemplifies the game of baseball, sportsmanship, and community involvement and contributions to his team. It was a fitting tribute to a man who'd been nominated for the award 8 times during his career. When Wakefield finally hung up his cleats in 2011, it wasn't the end of his baseball story. He smoothly transitioned into a role as studio analyst for NESN, the Red Sox broadcast network. This new position allowed him to share his deep knowledge of the game with fans, offering insights that only a veteran of 19 major league seasons could provide. His ability to break down complex pitching strategies, particularly the mystifying knuckleball, added a unique dimension to broadcasts. Wakefield's connection to the Red Sox organization remained strong even after his playing days. In 2016, his contributions both on and off the field were formally recognized when he was inducted into the Boston Red Sox Hall of Fame. It was a celebration of everything Wakefield meant to the team and the city of Boston. Former teammates, coaches, and executives spoke about his leadership in the clubhouse, his willingness to take the ball in any situation, and his unwavering commitment to the community. They shared stories of clutch performances in the 2004 ALCS against the Yankees, his mentorship of younger players, and his countless hours spent visiting sick children in hospitals. One of the most poignant moments came when a young cancer survivor who had met Wakefield during a hospital visit years earlier spoke about the impact the pitcher had on his life. The young man talked about how Wakefield's encouragement had given him hope during his darkest days, and how that brief interaction had inspired him to keep fighting. It was a powerful reminder that sometimes a player's greatest achievements happen far from the spotlight of the baseball diamond. Wakefield's induction speech was characteristically humble. He thanked his family, his teammates, and the fans who had supported him throughout his career. But he reserved special gratitude for the Jimmy Fund and the countless individuals he met through his charitable work. As Tim Wakefield's career wound down, the numbers told a story of resilience and longevity that few can match. Over 19 seasons in the big leagues, Wakefield amassed a 200-180 win-loss record and struck out 2,156 batters. But those stats only scratched the surface of what made his career truly remarkable. In a sport where power pitchers dominate the headlines, Wakefield carved out a niche with a pitch that barely broke 70 miles an hour. His knuckleball, a pitch that danced and fluttered its way to the plate, allowed him to compete against hitters who could easily overpower his modest velocity. But Wakefield's success placed him in elite company among knuckleball pitchers. He became one of only 6 knuckleballers in MLB history to achieve 200 career wins. This feat is even more impressive when you consider the unpredictable nature of the pitch. His ability to harness this magical pitch over 2 decades speaks volumes to his skill and mental toughness. But possibly the most remarkable aspect of his career, longevity. At the time of his retirement, Wakefield was 45 years old, the oldest active player in Major League Baseball. In a sport where careers often flame out by their early 30s, Wakefield's ability to compete at the highest level went well into his 40s, and it was incredible. And the secret to his longevity? You already know it. The same knuckleball that saved his career years earlier. The low-stress nature of the pitch allowed him to rack up those innings without the wear and tear that plagues most pitchers. Wakefield's final years in baseball were marked by milestones and memorable moments. He earned his 200th career win in 2011, a crowning achievement for any pitcher, but especially sweet for a player who had once been told he'd never make it out of Double-A. His final appearance came on September 25th, 2011 against the New York Yankees, a fitting end to a career that had seen so many battles with Boston's biggest rival. But life after baseball would bring challenges that no knuckleball could overcome. In October 2023, shocking news broke that Wakefield had passed away at the age of 57. The cause was a seizure resulting from brain cancer, a condition that had only been publicly revealed days before his death. The baseball world, especially the Boston community, was stunned by a sudden loss of a beloved figure.
I'm really sad. It's a great loss for Boston.
The outpouring of support and tributes that followed Wakefield's passing spoke volumes about the impact he had both on and off the field. Red Sox chairman Tom Werner captured the sentiment of many when he said, "Tim, your arm has put you in the record books, but it's matched by your heart, which will forever be celebrated in Red Sox Nation." Tragically, the Wakefield family's ordeal was far from over, and just 5 months after Tim's passing, his wife Stacy succumbed to pancreatic cancer. The couple's battle with cancer was largely kept private, adding a heartbreaking chapter to Wakefield's story. In the wake of these losses, those who knew Wakefield best shared memories that painted a picture of a man whose character matched his on-field achievements. His former teammate Jason Varitek spoke of Wakefield. "I don't think we could ever honor Tim enough," Varitek concluded. "What he has meant as a player, a man that wore that uniform and wore that uniform proudly, and what he brought to the community." MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred highlighted Wakefield's impact beyond the diamond, remarking on his spirit and kindness. These tributes underscored a truth that had been evident throughout Wakefield's career. His greatness wasn't about pitching, but about who he was as a person. Tim Wakefield's journey from a struggling first baseman to a beloved Red Sox legend is a testament to the power of perseverance. When his career as a position player seemed doomed, Wakefield didn't give up. Instead, he reinvented himself, turning to the knuckleball as a pitch as unpredictable as his own career trajectory. This decision led him on a roller coaster ride through the majors, from early success with the Pirates to rock bottom in the minors, and finally to lasting stardom with the Red Sox. Wakefield's ability to adapt and overcome setbacks mirrored the very nature of his signature pitch, sometimes wild and frustrating, but always capable of surprising everyone. And in the end, Wakefield's legacy extends far beyond his pitching stats. His impact on the baseball community, his selflessness on the field, and his enduring spirit embody the best of what baseball can be. Like the knuckleball itself, Wakefield's career was a reminder that in baseball, as in life, anything is possible. If you like these kinds of videos, consider watching this video here on Shohei Ohtani and how he broke baseball by being good at baseball. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.